106 years ago tomorrow. Do you know what's happened in the world since Sophie was born? The year Sophie was born, 1905, Teddy Roosevelt was mediating the Russo-Japanese War and would eventually win the Nobel Prize for Peace. The Russo-Japanese War. Now, she didn't make it for the Spanish-American War, because that was a little bit before that. Also, in 1905, the Great San Francisco earthquake killed over 4,500 residents of San Francisco. I guess you could say that Sophie came in with a bang. It's kind of hard with this microphone to do this right. There we go. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? In 1918, when Sophie was 13 years old, Black Jack Pershing and the Doughboys were making the world safe for democracy. Sophie also survived the great flu pandemic that killed over 20 million young adults worldwide during the winter of 1918-1919. In Montgomery County, 12,000 people died of the flu that year, and Sophie survived. In the 1920s, Sophie was a young girl dancing to ragtime and a new kind of music called jazz. The historical records show that she looked pretty darn sharp in her flapper outfit while she was dancing on Scott Joplin's piano. In October 1929, Sophie and the rest of the world experienced the beginning of the Great Depression. In 1935, Sophie witnessed the creation of Social Security. She was only 30 years old then, but the records show that FDR did not make any important moves without consulting with Sophie first. On December 7th, 1941, Sophie was 36 years old when the U.S. was plunged into World War II. At 40 years old in August 1945, Sophie witnessed the dawn of the atomic age at Hiroshima and the end of World War II and the beginning of the Cold War. In January of 1956, Sophie watched her first Captain Kangaroo TV show. In the 1960s, Sophie witnessed the assassination of a president, the establishment of Medicare and Medicaid for the elderly and the poor, and this time, LBJ did exactly what Sophie told him to do. Can I have the other sheet? Okay. In 1969, Sophie witnessed the landing of a man on the moon. And the records show that the astronauts brought back a piece of moon rock just for Sophie. During Sophie's lifetime, there have been great strides in the quality of our life, such as the invention of the wheel. In medicine, sterilization of instruments, the development of aspirin, insulin, penicillin, the polio vaccines, X-rays, MRIs, and the genome theory were all developed. And then, on August 6th, 1977, the newly formed Pottstown Area Senior Center was changed forever when Sophie Voyner became a member. August 6th, 1977. Does anybody know who was president then?
Carter. Reagan.
No, Jimmy Carter. And since that day, she's made all of us in our center a better place. Thank you, Sophie, for being such an important part of our lives. And now, back to the music.
Now, wait a minute.